the story of George Bailey, an ordinary man living in Bedford Falls, New York. For his whole life, George Bailey wanted to see the world lying beyond this small town. But our story doesn't begin in Bedford Falls. Indeed, it doesn't begin anywhere in your terrestrial world. It begins here, in heaven, where I, the superintendent of angels, am briefing an angel apprentice, Clarence. Clarence!
Whoops! Clarence Oddbody, second-class angel, reporting for duty, Your Honor.
Wait, second class? They sent me an angel. Second class? What, you haven't even earned your wings yet.
No, not yet. But I hope with this mission it would do the job. Gosh, are you really sending me down to Earth? I haven't been down there since.
Yes. You see, there is a man down there in trouble.
Good.
No, bad, Clarence. At precisely 10:45 p.m. Earth time, a man named George Bailey will be considering taking his own life.
Suicide? Well, I know that's bad.
Good, Clarence. You must stop him, if you can. Now, let me brief you on George Bailey's case history.
That's okay, Your Honor. All I need is a plan.
Plan?
Yeah, I'm reading The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Mark Twain, you know?
I am familiar with the book. If not, Mr. Twain is up here.
Tom Sawyer always has a plan.
I see. Well, if you can help George Bailey with your plan, you just may earn your wings. Speaking of which, how long have you been waiting for your wings?
Just 200 years.
200 years? George Bailey is going to need a miracle.
Thanks for your confidence. I'll leave immediately.
Wait. Plan or no, first some background. When George Bailey was just a little boy, he and his friends snuck onto old Mr. Potter's property and were sledding over a frozen pond on a shovel. That was when Harry, George's younger brother, fell through the ice.
Good, George. My turn.
Hey, my turn now.
Go.
Here I go. Help! Somebody help me!
Hang on, Harry, I'm coming.
Please!
Hang on.
Somebody
I'm
help
coming,
me!
Harry.
And George jumped in to save him, didn't he?
Yes, George saved his brother's life that day, but as a result, he lost hearing in one ear.
Brr, icy water, bad ear infection. Go on.
Now, a few months later, George was working at Mr. Gower's pharmacy. But Mr. Gower had just received horrible news that his only son had died in the influenza pandemic of 1919. Devastated, Mr. Gower was trying to drown his sorrows in whiskey.
Gower's drugs? Mrs. Blaine. Well, George should have delivered that prescription by now. Wait. Here he comes. I'll send it right over. Goodbye. George, did you deliver that prescription like I told you to?
Well, no, Mr. Gower,
Why didn't you deliver that prescription right away? The little blind girl's sick. You lost that medicine, didn't you?
Well, no, Mr. Gower. Here it is.
Here, I'll teach you.
Oh, Mr. Gower, my ear.
You good for nothing, lazy little loafer.
Oh, Mr. Gower, you're hurting my sore ear.
What are you trying to do? Ruin me?
And no, Mr. Gower. Hey, you put something bad in the capsules.
Shut up, you little. Ugh.
Look, Mr. Gower, I know you're upset. I know you're upset about your son dying. You've been drinking, but you put something bad. You put something bad in the capsules.
The capsules?
You took the powder from the wrong bottle. It's poison.
Poison? Poison! Poison! Oh no. Poison! Poison! Poison!
Please don't hurt my
Poison.
sore ear again.
Poison! Oh, no. Oh, George, forgive me, George, please. George.
It's okay, Mr. Gower. That's why I didn't deliver the medicine. I wanted him to make sure with my pa, but he was too busy.
Oh, George.
I won't ever tell us so, Mr. Gower. Hope to die.
Oh, George, forgive me, George.
Little Mary Hatch was there that day, but she too never told a soul.
My, George sure took a beating, but he did the right thing.
Yes, well, George grew up and wanted to go off to college, but the Baileys didn't have enough money. So George worked at the Bailey Building and Loan Association.
Building and loan?
George's father was in the building and loan business, he and George's Uncle Billy. But it was a case of high ideals and low bank account.
Those two always seem to go together.
Well, George worked for 4 years, saving enough money to go off to college. But first, he was going to summer in Europe, working his way across on a cattle boat, full of wanderlust. George wanted to do a little traveling before college.
Pop, as good as Annie's apple pie is, and it's peachy for an apple pie, Annie, I've had enough. Gee, I can't believe this is my final meal at the old Bailey boarding house.
We're all gonna miss you, son.
And I'm gonna miss you, Pop, and Ma, and Annie, and well, everybody in Bedford Falls.
You've certainly earned your chance, son.
Oh, and I'm gonna take it. But what's the matter, Pop? You look tired.
I don't know. I had one more run-in with Potter today.
Potter? That old money-grubbing buzzard?
I thought when you put him on the board of directors, he'd ease up a little.
So did I. He may be the richest man in Bedford Falls,
But the most miserable, if you ask me. I mean, I just don't understand somebody like that. He's never gonna spend all the money he has.
Well, Mr. Potter is bitter. Spent his life in that wheelchair. He's frustrated. Imagine, George, what if you were to...
Oh, come on. Potter owns just about everything in town. Everything but the Bailey Brothers building and loan.
well, maybe that's why he's so hard on us. To him, we're just a bunch of foolish...
Hiya, big brother. I need to borrow your tuxedo cufflinks for tonight's big dance.
Sure, help yourself, Harry.
Well, where are they? In that old suitcase of yours?
Harry, George doesn't need a tuxedo on a cattle boat.
You never know, Annie. Say, where'd you get this old beat-up suitcase?
Down at the Emporium. Mr. Gower bought it for me.
A going-away gift, eh?
Yeah, far away. You see, soon this will be covered with exotic destination stickers. Rome, Cairo, even Yoxpot Pedal.
Hey, find me a husband there?
I guess you're gonna have a pretty full summer.
No, I'm gonna have a pretty full life.
You should come to tonight's big dance.
Your graduation dance? No, I'd be bored to death.
Oh, but what a wonderful death.
There'll be plenty of pretty girls there.
Plus, we'll be dancing on a new gym floor tonight.
That was a brilliant idea of yours, George. Putting that retractable floor over the pool saved the high school thousands of dollars.
And that's just the start for me, Pop. What I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna see.
Like those tuxedo cufflinks?
Oh, try my top drawer upstairs, Harry.
Okay, yikes, gotta scram. Bye!
Was I like that when I graduated from high school?
Pretty much.
I sure wish we could send Harry to college with you, George.
Oh, but Harry and I have that all worked out. He'll take my job at the building and loan, saving up, and come 4 years later.
Harry's pretty young for that job.
No, he's the same age I was when I started.
It just seems you were born old, George.
Oh, what's that, Pop? You know my trick here.
He said, "You were born old."
Well, you see, that's why I've got to get started now, isn't it? There's a whole world out there just waiting for old George Bailey to conquer it.
George, now after college, you wouldn't consider coming back to the building alone, wouldn't you?
What? Come back? No. No, I just couldn't stand living the rest of my life cooped up in that little office with all those...
George!
Sorry. It's just that spending the rest of my life chasing nickels and dimes...
Just trying to spend your life saving 3 cents on length of a pipe. I understand, son.
Do you, Pop? I feel I've got to do something big, something important.
But, in a way, the billion loan is important. In that shabby little office, we help people buy their own homes.
Your father helps people's dreams come true.
I know, but most of my friends have already finished college. I feel if I didn't get away, I'd bust.
I guess you're right.
You get what I mean, don't you, Pop?
I know that this town's no place for anybody.
Unless you call to Mr. Potter.
Yeah. You've got a gift, George. So travel. Go to college, and then after, do what you want, son.
You know what, Pop? Are ready for a shock? I think you're a pretty swell guy.
Well, it's about time one of you lunkheads said it.
Thank you, George. And I'll tell you what. Why don't you go to Harry's dance, inspect the retractable floor. You'll have fun.
And maybe see Harry's classmate, that cute Mary Hatch.
Well, it is my last night in Bedford Falls. I guess I could go down, inspect the retracting floor, say goodbye to old friends, dance a little. Maybe I will at that.
So, George went to the dance. Is that important, Your Honor?
Patience, Clarence. That night, George danced Charleston with Mary Hatch, The whole gang was dancing the night away on the retracting gymnasium floor over the pool, when suddenly the floor started retracting. Now, you might even say the graduating class of 1928 had a splash.
So George and Mary were head over heels?
Later that night, George was walking Mary home, and they were feeling pretty good, Clarence. As a matter of fact, wonderful.
Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, come out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? Hot dog, eh, Mary?
We sound beautiful, George.
Oh, but we don't look beautiful. You should have seen the rush for the locker room to find dry clothes.
I didn't know you were the football type.
Oh, I didn't know you were the royal robe type.
Didn't you now? My train, sir.
Your caboose, milady. Gee, Mary, I'd almost say you were the prettiest girl in Bedford Falls.
So then, say it.
No, but how'd you get so grown up?
I'm gaining on you, George. Maybe we'll be at the same class at college.
How old are you anyways?
18.
18? Oh, why, it seems only last year you were just 17.
So, am I too young or too old?
No, you're exactly right. Your age sort of fits you. Though you do look a little older without...
What?
I mean, you look a little older without your,
What do you mean, George?
Hey, look where we are.
Aha, the old Gransville house.
Yeah, I gotta throw a rock, bust a window.
Oh, no, George. Even though it's deserted, I love this old place. It's full of romance.
Romance? No. With busted houses like that, you make a wish and then try and bust a window.
But, George, it's such a lovely old home. I wish to live there someday.
Live in there? I would live there if I were a ghost. Now I'm Babe Ruth, see? Here's the wind-up, and...
What'd you wish for, George?
Oh, I didn't just make one wish. I made a whole hat full of them. You see, I'm gonna leave this one-horse town. I'm gonna go places. Italy, the Colosseum, Greece, the Parthenon. And that's just this summer.
That's a good start, George.
And then I'm gonna go to college. See what they know, of course.
Of course.
Then I'm gonna build things, big things. Skyscrapers, airfields, bridges. Mary, what you doing? Hey, you're a pretty good shot yourself. So, what'd you wish for?
Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon?
Oh, come on, Mary. You want the moon? Well, I'll get you the moon. I'll throw a lasso up there and then
I'll take it. Then what?
Then you swallow that moon and moonbeams shoot out from your hair and fingertips and maybe I'm talking too much.
That's for sure. Why don't you just kiss her?
What's that?
I said, why don't you just kiss her?
Kiss her, huh?
George.
Man, you've used this place on people.
Hey, you come back here. I'll show you some kissing that'll...
George.
Uncle Billy, hey, look here. I'm about to kiss Mary Hatch.
Not now, George. Come home quick. It's your father.
My father?
A stroke. He's had a stroke.
What? He's had a...
Come on, George. Hurry.
Sorry, Mary.
Well, Clarence, George's father died that night, and George didn't get to go to Europe for the summer. But that fall, just as George was ready to go off to college, the directors of the building and loan had a meeting.
A meeting?
They had to appoint a successor to Mr. Bailey.
Those loads cannot be allowed to pass. They're unnecessary.
Enough discussion, gentlemen. All those in favor of approving these last loans made by our deceased president say aye. Aye. All opposed?
No.
Mr. Potter, your dissent is noted. And the motion carries. The loans are approved. Well, thank you, George. That's all we needed from you. I know we've got a train to catch.
Really? Uncle Billy, is Ernie's taxi waiting out there?
Yes, a taxi's waiting downstairs to take George to the train and to college. Hurry on, George.
I'd like to let the board know that George here gave up his trip to Europe to oversee Europe. Gave his trip to see overthink these past few months. Good luck to college, George.
Good riddance.
Luck, see ya. Thank you.
Now, proceeding with our agenda, we come to the
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Potter.
get to my real purpose. The dissolution.
The dissolution.
Now, I said, I've waited long enough. Get to my real purpose. This institution is not necessary in this town. It competes with the bank and is a general nuisance to sound business practices. Therefore, I move that we dissolve it and move its assets and liabilities.
Dissolve.
That is your opinion, Mr. Potter.
It is not opinion, it is fact. Now that Peter Bailey is dead, I move that we dissolve the building and loan and move all of its assets over.
Listen here, Henry Potter.
No, you listen, Uncle Billy. Your brother was not a businessman. He was a man of high ideals, so-called, but high ideals without common business sense can ruin this town.
Ruin?
Yes, and unfair to the little people, making them live beyond their means, like this Ernie Bishop, the taxi driver. I happen to know he was refused for a loan at the bank, but here...
Now, hold on, Mr. Potter. I handled Ernie Bishop's loan. You've got the papers in front of you. Income, insurance, collateral, and I can personally vouch for his character.
Friend of yours, George? You see, if someone shoots pool with an employee here, they can borrow money. And what's that get us? A lazy rabble instead of a thrifty working class. All because starry-eyed dreamers like Peter Bailey put impossible ideas into their heads. Now, who will second my motion to dissolve?
No. Now, hold on a minute, Mr. Potter.
Forgive my honesty, George, but your father...
Why my father ever started this penny ante building and loan, I'll never know. But remember this, Potter, that rabble you're talking about, well, they do most of the working and paying and living and dying in this town.
So?
So is it too much for them to ask to work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms with a bath? Well, my father didn't think so. To him, people were human beings. But to you, a warped, frustrated old man, they're cattle. In my book, Mr. Potter, my father died a richer man than you'll ever be.
Well, I'm not interested in your book, George. We're talking about the building and loan.
No, you're talking about something you can't get your greedy hands on, and it's galling you. That's what you're talking about. Well, I've said too much.
It's all right, George. Come on.
Actually, it's quite enough.
I apologize, members of the board. You can do what you want, but remember this. Without this measly building and loan, there'd be no place folks could go to borrow money without crawling to Potter. Come on, Uncle Billy, I have a train to catch.
It's the only reasonable path forward.
George, was all the ruckus in there? Yeah, Uncle Tilly and I heard was a whole lot of yelling.
You won't believe it, Eustace. George took on Henry Potter.
Oh, yeah? In a minute, they'll vote to dissolve the building and loan.
Well, after 25 years, easy come, easy go. Though I don't know what'll happen to us.
And your mother, George, poor old.
And no job for Harry.
Well, I don't care, George. It was worth seeing you shut Potter's big mouth.
Now that's rich. Don't worry, George. I'll find another job. I'm only 51.
55?
Why don't you get on out of here, George? You already missed the boat trip to Europe. Don't be late for college. Ernie's taxi's waiting down.
They just voted Potter down.
We're still in business. We're still in business.
What a relief, Tilly. Oh, but there goes my new career.
Just one stipulation, though. They appointed you to take your father's place.
Me? Appointed me? No, Uncle Billy's your man.
Sure, you can keep him on. You can hire anyone you like.
Thanks, George.
No, wait. You people get this straight. I'm leaving. Leaving right now. For college.
George, you've got to. The vote with Potter otherwise. Without you, the whole building line will go down.
So So George Bailey didn't go to college?
No, he didn't. George gave his college money to his brother, Harry. Harry went instead.
What about that girl, the cute one from the dance?
Mary went to college too, and George worked for 4 more years, waiting for Harry to finish college, come back, and take over. George still wanted to see the world. He planned on working in the oil fields of Venezuela.
That sounds exotic. Good for George.
Yes, but when Harry came back, there was a girl with him, his wife. Of course, the one who best understood this was Ma Bailey.
Is that you, George?
Yes, Mother. I'm just listening to the train whistle, heading out of town.
Well, that train brought back Harry and your new sister-in-law. Don't you like her?
Ruth's, she's okay. Harry's got all the luck.
She'll keep him on his toes.
Keep him out of Bedford Falls, anyway.
Now, Ruth's father has an excellent job for Harry up in Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo. Meaning?
Oh, then you can't.
Yeah, again.
I'm sorry, George. But did you know Mary Hatch is back from college too?
Yeah.
She's been back 3 whole days.
Mm-hmm.
Nice girl, that Mary.
I suppose.
Oh, stop this moping, George Bailey. It isn't like you.
What do you want me to do, Mother?
Give me one good reason why you shouldn't go see Mary.
Well, Sam Wainwright, for one.
Sam Wainwright? The boy who went hee-haw?
He's always been wild about Mary.
Well, Mary's never been wild about him.
Well, now how did you hear that? Was it in the newspaper? Did I miss it?
Mary has eyes for you, George. She lights up like a firefly whenever you enter a room.
Firefly?
Besides, you don't want her to be on an old maid now, do you? Besides, Sam Wainwright is in New York.
Oh, so all's fair in love and war now, is it?
Don't be difficult, George. Besides, the right girl can help you find the answers.
Trying to get rid of me, eh? Well, maybe I'll go find the right girl and do some passionate necking.
George!
Good night, Mrs. Bailey. By the way, do you need any books from the library?
Library? George, you go and see Mary now, do you hear?
Hey, George, you need a lift?
Oh, no, Ernie. I wouldn't want to rob you of a fare.
Rob me of fare? You would not be doing that. Taxi business is on the skids.
Same as the building and loan business. Want to switch?
Actually, George, I need to talk to you about that. I'm going to have to turn in my deed.
Your deed? The deed to your house? Ernie, you've only been living there 2 years.
Yeah, but with the business doing so bad, I can't make the payments right now. Me and the wife will just have to move in with her folks.
Her folks?
Either that or maybe share a flat with Bert. That might work as a cop on the night beat.
No. How about this? Can you just pay the interest?
The interest?
Keep your house, Ernie. Forget about the principal. For a little bit.
Well, gosh, George, I don't know how to thank you.
Taxi!
It sounds like you're back in business.
I am. Taxi coming right up.
Attaboy, Ernie.
Go for a dance?
Forgy, where you headed?
Hi, Violet. Hello, fellas. Gosh, you look great, Vi.
Oh, and this old thing? I only wear this, but I don't care how I look. Right, fellas? Excuse me, fellas. I think I got a date. So, Georgie, what's going on? Where you headed?
Just down to the library, I suppose.
The library? Oh, come on, Georgie. Don't you ever just get tired of reading about stuff?
Well, Now that you mention it, actually, yes. Are you free tonight, Vi?
Yeah, sure.
Well, let's make a night of it then. I've got to talk to somebody. How about it?
Sure, George. It's about time. What'll we do?
Well, we can head to the fields and take off our shoes and run through the grass.
The fields?
And then we can go to the falls. You got to see them in the moonlight, Vi. There's this green pool up there, and we can swim in it.
Swim?
And then we can climb Mount Bedford and smell the pines and watch the sunrise on the peaks and stay out the whole night. We'll be the talk of the town. There'll be a terrific scandal.
George Bailey, have you lost your mind? Walk through the grass? In my bare feet? It must be 10 miles to the falls, and this is the only thing I have to wear. You expect me to go swimming in this?
Okay. Okay, Vi. I just...
What is with you, George? For someone who wants to sail around the world, you don't seem to have been around the block. I mean, come on.
Fine. Forget about the whole thing.
Come on, fellas. George, what are you doing out there?
Me? Oh, nothing. Is that you, Mary?
I think so. Well?
Well, what? I was just passing by.
Yes, several times. I wondered if you were picketing or haunting me.
Now, why would I be...
Your mother phoned saying you were coming over.
The nerve of... Well, see, I was just on a stroll. I didn't have any sort of...
So, are you coming in or aren't you?
Well, I guess I could come in, since I'm here, for a minute. But I didn't tell anybody I was coming.
Right, you're your own man.
So back from college, huh?
Tuesday.
Where'd you get that dress?
New York. You like it?
It's okay, I guess. But why didn't you take up in New York like Sam Wainwright and everybody else?
Oh, I worked there. Summers. But I don't know, I got homesick.
Homesick? For Bedford Falls?
Well, it is home after all. No point in just standing here in the porch. Come on in.
Now, I just don't get this. Nobody knew I was coming here, not even me.
So you're leaving?
No, I wouldn't want to be rude. I'll stay a while.
Say, it's nice about your brother and his new wife, isn't it?
Ruth, she's swell.
What's the matter? You don't like her?
No, Ruth's a peach.
Oh, it's just marriage in general you're down on, huh?
No, marriage works fine for some people, like you or Sam or Harry, but...
Works for Sam?
Mary Hatch, who's down there?
It's George Bailey, Mother.
George Bailey? What does he want?
We're not sure. Either of us. What do you want, George?
Me? Not a thing. I was just strolling by, Mrs. Hatch.
Coward. He's making violent love to me, Mother.
He is? You tell him to stroll right back home. Remember, Sam Wainwright said he'd call tonight from New York.
I know, Mother. So, George, let me put on an old record here.
Oh, Mary, that mother of yours is kind of... Oh, that song. Listen, I'm not here for...
Then why are you here?
I don't know. You tell me, you're the girl with all the answers.
Oh, I can certainly explain to you why you should go.
No need, I'll just go.
Mary, the telephone is ringing.
Never should have.
Mary, the phone.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.
Mary, get the telephone.
Enough already, I'll get it, Mother. George, on your way out, could you take off the record?
Enough already, that blasted song.
Hello, Hatch residence. Oh, Sam.
Hiya, Mary. It's nice to catch you home.
Is it?
Excuse me, Mary. Just grabbing my hat.
Oh, Sam, how lovely of you to call.
All the way from New York. Hee-haw! What? Mary? Oh yeah. Hee-haw!
Say, your old friend George Bailey's here.
What? Old Stuck in the Mud George? In person?
Yep, old Stuck in the Mud George.
Hee-haw! We'll put George on. I want to say hi.
All right, Sam. George.
Mary, you idiot. Sam doesn't want to talk to George.
He does too. He even asked for it.
Now, what is it, Mary? You see, I'm going to be late.
Wait, George. It's Sam Wainwright. He wants to speak to you.
Me? Sam Wainwright?
Sam, here's George.
Hello, Sam. Hee-haw.
Hee-haw! Come on, George. What are you doing there? Trying to steal my girl, eh?
Steal your... No, now listen, I'm not trying to steal anybody's girls. Mary, you talk to him.
No. Wait a minute, George. This is for you both. Mary can use the extension upstairs.
He says you should use the extension upstairs.
I can't. Mother's on the extension.
I am not.
That's okay, George. We can just put our heads together.
Well, okay.
Sam, we're both on the line.
Okay, now I got a plan that will have us rolling in the dough. George, remember that time at Martini's Tavern when you told me about making plastics out of chili beans?
What? Chili beans?
Soybeans. I mean soybeans.
It was soybeans. Go on.
Well, my dad's willing to bankroll it. We want to build a factory outside Rochester. What do you think of that?
Oh, why Rochester? You could build it here in Bedford Falls. The old tool machine works closed down, and you could get that building for a song. Plus, there's plenty of available labor.
Now you're talking, George. But Mary, you listen to this too. If you've got any money, put every dime into our stock.
Now, wait a minute, Sam.
Come on, George. We might even have a job for you. That is, if you're not wedded to that old building alone. Here's a chance to get on the ground floor, right there in Bedford Falls.
Ground floor? That's wonderful.
In Bedford Falls?
Oh, Mary, are you still listening?
Yes, Sam, I'm still here.
Tell that old clodhopper that this is the chance of a lifetime. You hear? The chance of a lifetime.
He says it's the chance of a lifetime.
Give me that.
Sam, here's George again. You go ahead and try to... George!
Now listen, Mary. No plastics, no job, no ground floor, and no marriage to nobody. Never. Do you understand me?
George.
Nobody's going to maneuver me into any kind of...
George.
Oh, Mary. Mary.
I know.
So, George and Mary, what's it called? Got hitched?
Yes, Clarence. George and Mary were married on a brisk day in October 1932.
I always cry in October.
And honeymoon bound were headed for the train station driven by Ernie Bishop in his taxi.
Well, here you go, newlyweds. Sorry about the rainy send-off and all, but as Mr. Martini says, a wet bride is good luck. Oh, and Bert set this here bottle of bubbly. But don't tell anyone, eh? Caught violating prohibition and all, huh, Mary?
Mum's the word, Ernie.
So, George, what's the plan for this here deluxe honeymoon?
See this fat wad of cash, Ernie? Count it, Mary. That's our kitty.
So?
Oh, we're going to shoot the works, Ern. Week 1, New York. Week 2, Bermuda. It'll be the swankiest hotels, the dancingest music, and the prettiest and soggiest wife.
That's why I brought an umbrella, cowboy.
Good for you, George. You're finally getting out of Bedford Falls. Where after that?
Well, I don't know. Where to after that, dear?
The moon, of course.
Atta girl, Mrs. Bailey. Say I haven't kissed you nearly enough.
Well, then come here, you.
Whoa, slow down, lovebirds. Any fond farewells, George? Here's Genesee Street.
Farewell, old building and loan. Farewell, Uncle Billy. Bedford Falls. Farewell, Mr. Potter. We're leaving and we won't be back for a long time.
George, something's wrong at the bank. The door's locked.
Slow down, Ern. There's some cops. Ask Bert.
Hey, Bert, what's going on?
Looks like a bank run.
A bank run? In this downpour?
Rain or no, it's a bank run. If you got any money in the bank, you better pull out before they go belly up.
Stay here, Mary. I gotta see.
No, George, what about our honeymoon?
Look, I'll be back in a minute. In a second.
George, no, come back here. George, where are you? Ernie, drive us and go pick him up. Bert, drag George back here. George, come back here right now.
Your Excellency, I've heard enough background. If George is contemplating suicide, I must head down immediately.
Hold your horses, Clarence. We are nowhere near the point where George Bailey's considering taking his life.
Wait, what?
You will never earn your wings unless you can learn to be patient. Now let's see, where was I?
George and Mary were going on their honeymoon when they ran into a bank run.
Ah, yes. It was the great financial panic of 1932. As it was, bank failures were very prevalent back then.
Did hell break loose again?
No! In the lobby of the building alone, dozens of worried shareholders are clamoring for their savings. George has rushed from the waiting taxi to find Uncle Billy hiding in his office.
Uncle Billy, I saw the line of angry people outside the bank. What's with the crowd in our lobby?
It's a panic, George. They want to withdraw their shares.
From us? But we're not the bank.
But we're in a pickle. The bank called in our loan this morning.
Our loan? The bank called in our loan?
They've got to run. They needed cash, so they demanded we pay off our loan immediately. I handed over all our cash, George. I had to.
All our cash? But that means that...
The whole town's gone nuts, George. Who'd have thought you could entrust the American banking system or the American public to... Hello, this is Billy.
This is Henry Potter. Let me speak to George.
It's Henry Potter.
George Bailey here.
Are you okay, son? Have you called the police to quell that unruly mob in your lobby?
The police? Now why would we need...
I just want you to know that in this financial crisis, I'm here to help.
You? Help?
Yes, I've just guaranteed sufficient funds to the bank. They will close down for a bank holiday, then reopen on Monday.
Potter just took over the bank. I see. They'll reopen under new management, of course.
Of course. Now, this may cost me a fortune, but I'm willing to help out your shareholders too. If they need cash, they can sell their shares to me. I'm paying 50 cents on the dollar.
Oh, no. There'll be no fire sale here. We don't need your kind of bailout.
Ha! You don't have any cash, and you know it. That means bankruptcy, and your working people will lose everything. Am I wrong? I know your charter. If you close your doors before 6 p.m., you'll never reopen.
You don't miss a trick, do you, Potter? Well, here's one you did.
Well, I guess you told him.
Oh, but he's right, Uncle Billy. We need to stay open. That's until 6. If we don't, the state will take away our license. We'll go bankrupt.
Stay open? With no cash on hand? It'll take a miracle.
Well, let's see about the angry crowd in our lobby. All right, now hold on. Look, I just got off the phone with Mr. Potter. He says the bank will reopen next week. Next week?
Next week? We want our money now, George. Where's our money?
No, look, you've got it all wrong.
Yeah, your money isn't here.
What do you mean it's not here?
Well, look, now let me explain. Your money's not here. No, it's not in the safe. The money that you've invested into this building and loan was put into people's houses. It was put into the Grimaldus' house and Ernie's house, and it was invested into your house and your neighbor's house.
Why are their houses?
That's how the building and loan works. If you all want your money now, what should we do? Foreclose on everyone? Kick them out of their homes?
Yeah, why not? I don't care. I got $242 in here. Now, $242 won't break it, George. Close my account. I want my money now. Yeah, me too. Yeah,
All you have to do, Charlie, is sign the withdrawal forms and you'll get your funds within 60 days.
60 days? That is 2 whole months.
That's what you all agreed to when you bought your shares.
Ha! I got my money! Wait. Mr. Potter says he'll pay you 50 cents on the dollar for your shares.
Well, what do you say, George?
Well, now, we have to stick to the agreement.
Oh, yeah? Come on, everybody. Let's take our shares to Potter. Yeah.
Now wait, everybody. Stop. Listen, if you all sell, Potter would then control the building and loan. and there won't be another decent house built in this town again. Can't you see? He just took over the town bank. He already controls the bus line in the department store, and now he's coming after us. You want to know why? It's because we're cutting into his business. If it weren't for us, you'd all be living in Potter's crummy shacks, paying whatever rent he demands.
But George.
Eddie, last year things were rough. You couldn't always pay, right? Do you think Potter would have let you keep your house?
Well,
listen, everybody. Potter's buying because you're panicking and he's not. To him, you're just a bunch of bargains. Now, we can make it through this, but only if we stick together. Have faith.
That's a lot of fine talk, George, but I've got doctor bills to pay.
Yeah, my husband just got laid off. We need our money.
You can't feed your kids on faith.
yeah,
George? Hey, Mary.
How much do they need? We still have some cash on hand.
We do? Wait, we do?
Our honeymoon money.
Well, George, this could last us until the bank reopens.
It better, Uncle Billy, it better. Sure would have made a nice honeymoon.
Bought some furniture, too.
Now, who's up first? Charlie now.
$242.
No, come on, Charlie. How about just enough to tide you over?
Hey, I want my $242.
Fine. Uncle Billy, give Charlie her $242.
This closes my account then.
No, that doesn't close your account.
It's just a loan, Charlie, just a loan.
Who's up next? Eddie now.
Well, I got $300 in here.
Oh, come on, Eddie. How much do you need?
$20 will do, I guess.
Great. Next, Mrs. Davis.
But George, this is your own money.
That's okay. That's okay. How much do you need?
$17.50 too much?
$17.50. Bless you, dear. Pay it back when you can, now when you can. Who's up next? We got to make this money last. We don't got a lot. Take only what you need. Only what you need.
Look at the clock, George, look.
I'm looking, Uncle Billy. 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lock that door, Eustace. Lock that door.
George.
Yes.
We made it.
Oh, well, we're still in business, even if we only got $2 left in the bank.
Maybe they'll breed in the safe, eh, Eustace?
Yeah, like bunnies.
They'd better.
George, telephone.
Oh, Chili, would you call my wife for me?
Mrs. Bailey's on the line.
Mrs. Bailey? No, I don't want Mrs. Bailey. Wait. Oh, Mrs. Bailey. Right, that's the name of my wife now, too. Hello, is this Mrs. Bailey?
Yes, this is Mrs. Bailey.
Oh, well, Mary, we survived.
Now that you're done saving things, come home.
Huh?
Come home.
Come home? What?
Our home.
But, Mary, how can we have...
Our home on 320 Sycamore?
320 Sycamore? Whose home is that?
Our home, Bird Brain.
What?
Right now.
Right now? Oh, okay.
I love you.
I love you too, dear.
Well, Clarence, it turns out 320 Sycamore was
His mother-in-law's.
No. 320 Sycamore was the old Granville house that George and Mary threw rocks at that night for their wishes. You see, Mary's wish was to marry George and live in the old Granville house. That's where they honeymooned, that's where they set up camp, and 2 years later, that's where they were living. When Mr. Potter had George come by his office for a little talk.
Now, George, I suppose you're wondering why you're here.
Well, I don't know, Mr. Potter, but I'm sure you do.
That's what I've always admired about you, George. You're like me and get right to the point. Well, George, I'm giving up.
Giving up?
Yes. As you know, I own nearly everything in this town, except the Bailey building alone. I've tried to gain control of it for years, but you've outwitted me, evaded me, defeated me. Am I wrong?
Actually, no.
That's because you're a smart man, George. 2 years ago, during that financial panic, you and I were the only ones who kept our heads. I saved everything else, and you saved the building and loan.
Most would say you stole everything else.
The envious might say that, George. The suckers might say that, but we both know I was just being a smart businessman, And that's what I'm being right now.
So smart that you're giving up?
Well, if you can't beat 'em...
No, if you're suggesting that we...
Wait, George. Don't get up. Don't leave. I've told you my side of the story, but let's look at your side.
What?
Yeah, your side. Now, you're a young man making, what, $40 a week?
45.
Okay, 45. And if you were a common everyday bumpkin, you'd think you were doing fine. However, you're no common everyday bumpkin, son. No. You're a smart, resourceful, and ambitious man who hates his job. Yes, you hate that building and loan almost as much as I do. You've been trying to get out of this town ever since you were born. You see your friends, your brother go places, while you're stuck here, frittering away your life, a mere servant to a bunch of garlic eaters.
So what's your point, Mr. Potter?
My point is, come work for me, George. I'll hire you.
Hire me? To do what?
Oversee my properties, manage my affairs, and I can start you off at $20,000 a year.
20,000?
Yeah, and you're worth it. Wouldn't you like to buy your wife some fine clothes? Live in the nicest house in town? A trip to Europe every year?
You're talking to me, George.
Yeah.
George Bailey, from the building and loan?
Yes, that George Bailey. Son, your ship has finally come in. Now muster up the brains and climb aboard.
But what about the building and loan?
Forget the building and loan! I'm offering a 3-year contract for, let's sweeten the pot, make it $25,000 a year. Are we agreed?
$25,000? A new house? Trips to Europe? Give me some time to think it over, will you? Ask my wife.
Sure. In the meantime, I'll draw up the papers. But first, let's shake on it, George.
Oh, man. If my father could see me now, he'd...
What's the matter, George? We're just shaking hands over a little business.
No, I don't need to think about it. I know the answer right now. The answer is no.
What do you mean?
The world shouldn't revolve around you and your money, Mr. Potter. I can't be bought or bought off. Now, go chew on that.
You're a failure, George Bailey. You just don't know it yet.
Are you bored waiting up for me, Mary?
Just knitting, George. So what did Mr. Potter want to see you about?
Talk, business talk, but why could you have married somebody like me?
Well, I didn't want to be an old maid.
But we were going to go places, do things. I was going to give you the moon. Instead, what have I given you? Not much. Some husband I am. I feel terrible.
Me too, especially in the mornings lately.
No. Why didn't you marry somebody like Sam Wainwright, like somebody?
I didn't marry a somebody because I wanted a baby that looked like you.
I didn't even give you a real honeymoon. No swanky... Wait, you wanted a what that looked like me?
A baby, you bird brain.
Well, Mary, then you mean you're...
Yes, George. Well, Clarence, soon Mary gave birth to their first child, a boy named Petey.
Petey? That's nice.
And 2 years later, another baby, a girl, Janie.
Janie? Good for them.
But of course, George never got out of Bedford Falls.
He didn't?
No. Year after year, George slaved away at the building alone. They built Bailey Park, and town folks settled there, like the tavern owner, Mr. Martini. George kept on dreaming, and Mary kept on hoping. In 1940, they had another baby, Tommy.
Tommy? Okay.
But then came the World War. Well, the Second World War, you understand. Mary ran the USO and had another baby girl, Susan, nicknamed Zuzu. Mr. Gower and Uncle Billy sold war bonds, and Mr. Potter ran the draft board, of course.
Of course.
Violet Bick. Now, Violet Bick joined the Waves. That was until they figured out her way of raising morale could sink a navy.
Huh? Oh my.
Bert the cop was wounded in Tunisia and received the Silver Star. Ernie, the taxi driver, was captured by the Nazis, but escaped from the prison camp. And Harry, you remember Harry?
Yeah, he moved to Buffalo.
Yes, well, Harry became a real war hero. Serving as a Navy flyer, he shot down 15 enemy planes. 3 of them just as they were about to crash into a ship full of soldiers.
What about George? What did George do?
Now, George fought the Battle of Bedford Falls. George was designated 4F due to his bad ear. And working as an air raid warden, he ran the scrap drives, the rubber drives, and the bacon grease drives. And like the rest of the country, on VE Day, he wept and he prayed. And on VJ Day, he wept and he prayed again.
Well then, we're just up to today then.
Yes. Now, Clarence, the only thing you don't know about George Bailey is how he's come to the point of wanting to take his own life.
Suicide? Tell me, how?
All right. Well, today is Christmas Eve, and in addition to holiday preparations, George is very excited.
Eustace, did you see this article in the paper? Commander Harry Bailey, famous Navy ace, decorated by President. Can you believe it? My own brother, the Medal of Honor.
Gosh, George, that's swell.
It says here, Commander Bailey shot down 15 enemy planes, the last of which, kamikazes, aiming to dive directly into a troop ship. Can you believe it? Our own Harry saved hundreds of lives. Where's Uncle Billy? Shopping?
George, the bank examiner's here waiting for him.
Oh, right, the annual audit. Well, good afternoon,
Carter, the bank examiner.
Now, look here in the paper. My brother's getting decorated by the president today.
Yes, well, I suppose they do that sort of thing. Now, about the books.
George.
Oh, Harry, did you see in the paper all about Harry's homecoming and...
George, can I see you a minute, privately?
Sure, Vi.
Mr. Bailey, I'd like to finish audit tonight so I can get back to Elmira and spend the holiday at home.
Right. Eustace, would you show the books to...
Carter, the bank examiner.
Of course. Eustace, would you?
Yeah, sure thing. Right this way.
Carter, the bank examiner.
Step into my office, Vi.
Sure, George, thanks.
So, what can I help you with, Violet?
The letter you promised.
Right, the letter of recommendation I promised you. See, I was about to type it up when all this news about Harry came in.
Good kid, that Harry. So, George, like I told you on the phone, I'm leaving for New York. And after that thing with the waves, I gotta make a fresh start, maybe.
Sure. How about this? To whom it may concern, the bearer, Miss Violet Bick, has been employed here at the Bailey Building and Loan for the last 2 years.
That's a lie, George. I have not.
Now, Vi. She has demonstrated intelligence.
A lie.
Ability.
Another lie.
And good character.
Character? If I had any character, I wouldn't have gotten drummed out of the...
I give her my wholehearted approval.
Gee, thanks, liar.
Oh, come on, Vi. It takes a lot to leave your hometown and start somewhere new. And here's a little something to help you get started.
Oh, no, George, I can't take that.
Oh, come on, you're broke, aren't you? Do you want to hawk your furs in that hat? Are you going to walk to New York? Besides, it's just a loan, Vi. I'm in the loan business, after all. You'll find a job.
Sure, okay.
Good luck, Violet.
Glad I know you, George Bailey. Merry Christmas, Georgie.
Say hello, New York, for me. Eustace, where's that Uncle Billy?
He's making a deposit at the bank.
Well, Mr. Potter, here to personally guard your money? What, your vault not strong enough?
Watch out, Bailey, you old fool. My wheelchair.
Have you seen the newspaper yet? The headline reads, Harry Bailey gets Medal of Honor. Gee, what do those Bailey boys do next?
Let me see that.
Sure. Here.
What does that shirker George say about Harry being decorated?
Well, if that shirker George had gone, he'd have earned 2 Medals of Honor.
No, but he didn't go. His bad ear hurt everything but the coat of arms.
Well, make sure to read the part about the parade for Harry tomorrow. Sorry I can't chat anymore, you old thief. I gotta go make a deposit.
Next customer, please.
Hello. Here you are. Bank book, deposit slip, and a Merry Christmas.
And to you too, Mr. Bailey, but aren't you forgetting something?
I forget things all the time.
Where's the money?
What?
You want to make a deposit, don't you?
Yeah, I want to deposit $8,000.
Well, it's usually customary to bring the money with you.
Guard, wheel me into my office.
The money. Where'd I put the money? I
Now take note, Clarence. The reason Uncle Billy couldn't find the missing deposit money is because the $8,000 was in the envelope wrapped in the newspaper that Uncle Billy gave to Mr. Potter.
Oh, and Potter kept that lost money, didn't he? That's why George and Uncle Billy are scouring the streets in front of the bank.
You look by the curb, Uncle Billy. I'll look by the mailbox.
For the life of me, George, I don't know where it could be. When I left our office, I had the envelope with our money.
That $8,000 is not our money. It's the depositor's money. And with the bank examiner here.
But George, we've checked every step I took.
Well, maybe if it didn't fall out of your pocket, you never put it in there in the first place.
Maybe, but I'm useless to you, George, useless.
Come on, you've got to think. Think.
I can't think. I just can't.
Now listen here, you doddering fool. Without that money, we'll go bankrupt. There'll be fraud, scandal. Somebody's going to prison, and it won't be George Bailey. Do you hear? Now keep looking. I'm going home.
George!
What's the matter, George? You've been brooding since you got home. Talk to me.
How can I with Janie's piano playing? And she's banging away over and over.
I'm sorry, dear. Hectic day?
Another stellar day for the Bailey family.
Here's Susie's plate, Mom. Hey, Dad.
Not now, Tommy.
Hey, Dad. The Browns got a brand new car. You should see it.
Why? Is our car not good enough for you?
Gee, Dad, I would just...
Thank you for bringing Zuzu's plate. Why don't you two finish decorating the tree?
Mary, why is Zuzu eating in her room?
Oh, I think she may have caught a cold coming home from school. She didn't button her coat because she got a flower as a prize and didn't want to crush it.
Caught a little cold?
It's okay, dear. The doctor said not to worry.
The doctor came?
Zuzu's got a little temperature, just 99...
It's this drafty old house. It's a wonder we don't all have pneumonia.
George.
And why do we live here anyway, in this crummy little town?
What's wrong, dear?
Oh, everything's wrong. Why do we have to have all these kids?
Hey, Dad, how do you spell frankincense?
I don't know. Ask your mother.
Where are you going?
I'm going to check on Zuzu. Hey, Zuzu, I heard you caught a little cold. How are you?
Daddy, I want a frog's good. Can you give me a drink of water?
A drink of... Oh, okay, I'll...
Daddy, you crossed it. Daddy, place the package back on.
There, see, it's fixed. All good as new.
Thank you, Daddy. You can do anything.
Anything? Well... Try to get some sleep now, dear. You'll feel better.
Merry Christmas, Daddy.
Mary, Zuzu felt a bit hot to me.
Hello,
We'd better...
Bailey residence. Oh, Mrs. Welch. Yes, Zuzu's resting now. I'm sure it's nothing.
Mary, who's on the phone?
It's Mrs. Welch, Zuzu's teacher. What's that? Oh, no, the doctor says she should be out of bed just in time.
Mary, give me the phone.
George, no. Now calm down.
Give me that.
George!
Now listen here. What kind of person are you sending kids home half naked? Don't you know she could get pneumonia on account of you? Silly, careless people like you. Now maybe my kids aren't the best dressed in town, but... Hello? Hello?
George!
Janie, enough with the piano already. Somebody stop her.
George, whatever is the matter with you? Must you torture the children too? Stop it. You're acting like a wild man.
I'm sorry, Janie. Sorry, Mary.
George.
I've just got to get out of here.
So that's what this sudden visit is about, George. You're $8,000 short.
Yes, Mr. Potter, but I'm willing to pay whatever interest, and if you want the building and loan, we can...
You claim the money was lost. What if it was stolen? Have you contacted the police to get it back?
No. With Harry's homecoming, the publicity would...
I see. So you come to my door. Why not your buddy, Sam Wainwright?
Well, I tried to get in contact with Sam, but he's vacationing in Europe right now, and...
I see. So you want an emergency loan for $8,000 on Christmas Eve. What do you have as collateral, George?
This life insurance policy.
Life insurance? How much?
$15,000.
$15,000. But what's your equity in it?
About $500.
$500? And you want a loan for $8,000?
Yes, Mr. Potter, but...
You're pathetic, George Bailey. For years, you've opposed my plans and derided my character. You once said you didn't need me or my money, did you not?
Yes, Mr. Potter, but I...
And now I'm very important to you. But do I look like Santa Claus?
No, Mr. Potter, I just...
You once called me a warped, frustrated young man, or old man. And what are you but a warped, frustrated young man? Look at you now, groveling, begging for a handout. Go beg the cattle you love so well. Go beg them for help.
Mr. Potter, please, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to swear out a warrant for your arrest.
But what about...
I'm calling the sheriff, and then the district attorney, and then the newspaper.
The sheriff, the newspaper? But what about a loan on my life insurance policy?
For $500 in equity, George? Come now, can't you see you're worth more dead than alive?
There's got to be something I can do.
Where are you going, George? You can't hide in a small town like this. As the sheriff's office, I would like to report an embezzlement at the building and loan.
The nerve of that Henry Potter.
Yes, and he had George's missing $8,000 sitting in his desk drawer.
What would George do? Where is he?
He's at Martini's Tavern. He's had a couple of drinks, and he's dazed, just sitting at the bar.
Our Father who art in heaven, God, I've never been a praying man, but if you are listening, I'm lost. Lost.
Mr. Bailey, are you okay?
Hey, Mr. Martini, George, you don't look too good.
You're right, Nick. Mr. Bailey, you drank too much, too much. Have enough, please.
Hey, did you say Bailey? Which of the Baileys are we talking about?
This, Mr. Bailey, Mr. George Bailey.
Oh, George Bailey, why is it? Why you... If you ever talk to my wife that way again, I'll give you even worse.
What?
She slaves away teaching your stupid kids how to read and write, and then you ball her out on the phone while she cried for an over hour, you louse.
Hey, Welch, get out of here. You punched my best friend. Out of here. Nick, throw him out.
Go on, Welch. Never mind a tap.
Okay, I'm a-going.
How you doing, Mr. Bailey?
Oh, Martini, who was that?
You were hit by Mr. Welch.
Well, that's what I get for praying. But where's my policy?
Huh?
My life insurance policy.
Insurance? You know where, Mr. Bailey. Welch don't come here anymore. Let me get something cold for your face. Look, the blood.
No, I'm fine.
Come on, Mr. Bailey, it's snowing outside.
Nick, you take Mr. Bailey home.
No, now you let me go alone. You hear?
Well, Clarence, George stumbled out of Martini's tavern a few moments ago. There he is, standing over the Bedford Falls River Bridge. He's about to jump. Do you have your plan?
My plan? No, not yet, Your Honor.
Well, if you can save George Bailey's life, you just may earn your wings.
My wings. I won't let you down, Your Honor. George Bailey, get away from that bridge. Don't fret, Kurt's body's on the way.
There will now be a 15-minute intermission. The play will begin in 5 minutes. There will now
Oh, that troubled George Bailey stands over the Bedford Falls River Bridge, convinced himself he's worth more dead than alive. George is gazing down at the freezing water below, posed to end it all. Do something, Clarence!
Help! Help! Somebody help me! Help!
Whoa, wait! Here I come!
Jumping in the river like that. You two sure are lucky I was checking the river warehouse tonight. Otherwise, you'd have frozen to death. Warming up now?
I'm okay. What about you?
Oh, I'm fine. Even though my underwear seem a bit out of date, I was buried in them.
You were buried in what?
Oh, looks like Tom Sawyer's drying out.
The name's George.
No, the book Tom Sawyer. I brought it with me. You know what, George? You got a Tom Sawyer quality about you. wanderlust, full of ideas.
So, how'd you fall in the river?
Oh, I didn't fall in. I jumped in to save you.
No, wait, that's backwards. I jumped in to save you, remember?
Well, did you go through with your plan? Huh? Did you?
Go through with my plan?
You know, suicide.
Hey, you can't commit suicide around here. I'm pretty sure it's against the law.
Oh, it's against the law where I come from.
And where might that be, stranger?
Heaven.
What?
Right.
The name's Clarence Abadi, AS2.
Are you now?
AS2 or Angel Second Class.
Right. Well, I'll go see if any other angels have answered some prayers tonight.
Thanks for the warm stove.
Now, why would an angel come to save me?
Because killing yourself is a sin, especially for $8,000.
$8,000? How?
I know everything about you, George. I am your guardian angel.
Figures this is the kind of angel I'd wind up with. Angel, huh? So where are your wings then?
I'm an angel second class. I haven't won my wings yet, but with the help of you, of letting me help you, I could earn them.
You couldn't help me with, say, $8,000, could you?
Oh, we don't use money in heaven.
Oh, yeah? Well, it sure comes in handy down here, bub.
That's what many people think, but...
Hey, it just struck me a bit late, but if you know everything about me, then you know I'm worth more dead than alive, right?
Don't say that, George. With that attitude, I'll never earn my wings. You don't know all the good you've done. If it wasn't for you...
If it wasn't for me, they'd all be better off. My wife, kids, my friends.
But killing yourself won't make them happier.
I suppose you're right. Well, I guess it'd be better if I was never born then.
What?
I wish I was never born.
Oh, that's a good one, George.
A good what?
The plan you gave me. It kind of reminds me of Tom Sawyer. Now, let me see here.
Hey. What?
Here you go, George. I granted your wish. You were never born.
Never born, huh?
Yup, no troubles, no missing $8,000, no sheriff, and no Mr. Potter on your trail.
Hey, wait. Say that again. My ear.
You can hear all right. That's because you don't have a bad ear anymore. Because you're not the George you used to be.
But I was deaf and now I can hear?
And your lip's not bleeding either. That's because you were never punched at Martini's Tavern.
Never. That's bonkers. I need a drink. How about it, Angel? Let's you and I get a drink.
A drink? But George, I'm on duty.
Now, once our clothes dry out, we can walk on down to Martini's.
Our clothes are dry. You see, they never got wet because you never.
Ugh. Well, we'll get dressed and then we can walk on down to Martini's. Wait, I'll walk and you can fly.
But George, I haven't earned my
wings, right? Not yet. Well, after a few drinks, we'll both be flying. Come on.
What can I get you?
Hey, Nick, is Martini still here? I wanted to apologize.
You want a martini or you a wise guy?
No, just give me a double bourbon then.
And for you?
Name's Clarence. I like spice rum. No. Mulled wine with a dollop of nutmeg and a dash of cloves. Hop to it, lively lad.
Listen, Clarence, we serve hard liquor for men who want to get drunk quickly. If that's not good enough for you, maybe I can convince you otherwise.
No, he'll just have the same as me.
All right, 2 double bourbons.
What's with Nick? Why is he acting so different? And now that I think about it, the whole tavern's all different.
Everything's different, George, because you were never born.
Different?
Here are your drinks.
At least somebody made it.
Made what?
Every time a bell rings, an angel gets their wings.
What? Did you say angel?
Yeah, I'm an angel, 2nd class.
Clarence, you might not want to talk about angels in a bar.
Why? Do they not believe in angels?
No, they believe, but...
Then why would they be surprised when they see one?
Yeah, in a bar.
Sorry, Nick. He never grew up.
Sure I did. This September I'll be turning 293.
2 pixies, eh? I bet you don't have any money either.
Of course not. We don't use money in heaven.
Well, this ain't heaven, pal. Out of my bar.
Your bar? But what about Martini, Nick?
You ain't getting no martini. How do you know my name anyway? I don't know from you from Adam. Hey, you again.
Spare change. Spare change.
Mr.
No,
Gower?
Rummy, you can't panhandle here.
Mr. Gower, hey, it's me, George. George Bailey, you know me.
Oh, I know you. You can buy me a drink.
Ben,
just a small
throw
one.
that Rummy out.
Just a small one, please, man. Hey, wait.
But that's Mr. Gower from the pharmacy.
That drunkard went to prison for 20 years for poisoning a kid. If you know him, you must be jailbird too. Ben, throw these Rummies out.
Hey, don't be so rough.
Hey, everybody, I'm handing out angel wings.
Mr. Gower poisoning a kid? How can that be?
Because you weren't there to stop him.
No, sure I was.
No, you weren't. You don't exist.
Well, then who the hell am I?
You're nobody.
No, I'm George. George Bailey.
No, you're not. No driver license, no 4F card, and no insurance policy.
Zuzu's pedals, they were right.
Sorry, George. They might have been there before, but now, well,
they're gone. Gone. What am I, a ghost?
You've been given a gift, George, to see a world without George Bailey.
No, you're nuts, and you're making me nuts too. Now I'm gonna go see my wife and kids. You stay away. Hey, officer. Oh, Bert, what's with the sign?
What about
Pottersville?
it? You're in downtown Pottersville.
But what about the Bailey Brothers building and loan?
What? Oh, that closed down years ago. As you can see, it's an old pawn shop now.
But what about the...
Hey, where do you think you're going, Violet?
Lay off of me. I didn't jackroll nobody. That sailor had it coming.
He did, eh? Well, you're coming with me.
I said lay off of me. I know the mayor, the chief, and the judge. You can't touch me.
Enough out of here. Get in the wagon. I'm running you in.
No.
Wait, Violet. Hey, I know that girl.
Yeah, you and every other wolf in town. Now move along before I run you in too.
Taxi. Hey, Ern, you gotta get me home.
Uh-huh. Where's home, pal?
No, don't, cut it out. Don't try that on me. I live at 320 Sycamore.
320 Sycamore.
In a hurry, Zuzu's sick.
Whatever you say.
Now look, Ernie, I think I'm losing my mind here. Listen, your name's Ernie Bishop, right? You and your son and wife live in Bailey Park.
What? What about my wife?
Dolores. I've been to your house, the one I built for you.
My wife ran away 5 years ago and took the kid with her. I rent one of Potter's shacks. I've never seen the likes of you before, so why are you calling me Ernie?
Okay, Ern, I just keep driving. Hello? Anybody here? Mary? Kids? Tommy? Janie? Petey? Zuzu? Where is everybody?
This house is just an abandoned wreck, George. You have no wife or kids.
Well, where'd they go?
Like I said, you don't exist anymore.
Officer, it's that guy in there. He's gone crazy.
Hold it, you two. This is the police. Put your hands up.
Wait, Bert, it's me.
Take it easy, mister. Come along all quiet like. We can get you some help.
Bert, what's happened to you? Look, it's this guy here. See, he's an angel. He's got me hypnotized.
I am an angel, but we don't hypnotize people. We prefer to.
Right. Well, I'm taking you both then.
Run, George, run!
Ow, let go of me. Hey, Kevin, give me a hand.
You wouldn't smite an old angel, would you? Superintendent, help! Help!
Where'd that old coot go?
I don't know. Poof, and he was gone.
What about the other one?
He ran down south, down Sycamore.
Yeah?
Mother.
Mother, who even are you?
George. It's me, George.
George who?
Now look, something terrible's happened. Happened to everybody. Now if I can just stay here until I get over it, then maybe...
Get over what? No vacancies. Scram.
But we're family. Me, your brother-in-law, Uncle Billy, and...
You know Billy?
Well, sure. I saw him today down at
Today? Billy's been in the nut house ever since he lost his business.
Uncle Billy, the nut house?
The Pottersville Nut House, and that's where you belong. Now, beat it.
But wait, Mother, don't you recognize me? It's me.
Scram, I'm calling the police, so you better get out of here.
Looking for Bailey Park, George?
You. Well, where's the housing development? My dad and I built it right.
As you can see, it's a graveyard now, George.
But where are the houses? The people I knew?
Oh, they're here, George. They're here.
What?
Amid these gravestones lays Martini over there, the little Blaine girl over here, and right next to your father,
Harry Bailey, dead.
Harry died at the age of 9, drowned to death.
No. Harry shot down those kamikazes. He saved the lives of every man aboard that troop ship.
Every man aboard that troop ship died that day.
How?
Because you weren't there to save him.
Me?
Don't you see, George, how one man changes so many other lives? You had a wonderful life.
Wonderful?
It's been said, the kingdom of heaven is spread upon the earth. Men don't see it. Don't you see, George? What a waste it would be to throw away your life.
But all the things I wanted to do.
It's easier to want than you get, but to get what you want.
But Clarence, tell me.
Yes?
Where's Mary? Where's my wife?
You don't have a...
No. Tell me where she is.
Haven't you seen enough?
No, Clarence, tell me, where is she?
She became an old maid.
No, tell me where she is now, or do I have to beat it out of you?
George. She works at the library, and about now, she's closing up for the day.
Mary!
George!
Mary, help!
George! Gosh, isn't there an easier way to earn my wings?
Mary,
Sorry, but the library's closed early tonight.
No, wait, Mary, it's me, George. Don't you recognize me?
I don't think so. Excuse me.
No, wait, Mary.
Don't touch me.
No, Mary, don't
No,
you know
let
me?
me go.
Don't you see?
Somebody help.
Wait, Mary.
I don't know
Mary,
you.
please,
Somebody-
wait. It's me,
No,
your
help
husband.
me.
Mary.
Help me, I don't know
What about our kids, Mary? What about the kids? Clarence, are you here? Where are you, Clarence, please?
I'm here, George. What are you gonna do, jump off the bridge again?
No, Clarence. I want to have lived, I do.
If you go back, you'll face scandal. The sheriff.
I don't care. Anything to see my family again.
Now that's the spirit, George. Never despair, always be willing.
Can you do it, Clarence? Can you send me back? Please send me back. Send me back into the real world. Please, send me back.
What are you doing here?
Officer, stay away, Bert, or I'll... Clarence, save me.
What in the Sam Hill are you talking about, George?
George, you recognize me. You know me?
Well, that's your name, isn't it? No, I've been searching all over town for you. Where have you been?
Where have I been? Wait, what? Say that again.
I'll try to get here. Say, where have you been?
Oh, Bert, I'm alive again.
Alive? Again? Are you okay, George?
Oh,
hey, your lip's bleeding.
Oh, my lip? My lip is bleeding. Hey, look at all that blood just oozing out there.
It's not that bad, George.
Oh, and Zuzu's petals, they were right.
Petals? Flower petals?
They're here. Here. Oh, Merry Christmas, Bert.
Well, Merry Christmas to you. Let's hop in the squad car and I'll take you home. Just gotta stop right by the...
No. I'm gonna go home. Boy, do I know the way home. Merry Christmas.
We'll have it your way. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Bedford Falls. Oh, how I love this town. Merry Christmas, old building and loan. Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter and everybody else. Oh, this is the best. Oh,
Bailey, for the building and loan.
Reporters? The sheriff? Oh, right. Merry Christmas, reporters, sheriff, and you.
Carton, the bank examiner. Mr. Bailey, your books show a deficit of
$8,000, right?
Excuse me. Mr. Bailey, I have a warrant here.
For my arrest. Oh, Christmas in jail, isn't that wonderful?
Actually, George, it's not.
Is it true about the
Yes,
building and
yes.
loan?
In a minute. But first, Mary, kids, are you home?
Dad, you're home. Merry Christmas, Dad.
Oh, Tommy, Petey, Janie, and Zuzu. How are you feeling, dear?
Mix of camping soap.
Not a smidge. It's a miracle. But where's your mother?
George?
Oh, Mary.
George, where have you...
Mary, I just have to hold you. Oh, you won't believe what's happened.
And you won't believe what's happened.
George.
What? Uncle Billy?
Money, bushels of money.
You found the $8,000?
No, George, your wife saved the day, didn't you, Mary?
The people all heard you were in trouble and they've pitched in to help.
Annie, a pie in your strongbox?
Well, I was saving this money for a divorce, in case I ever got married.
Oh, Mrs. Davis, thank you. Mr. Gower, thank you. Martini, hey. Ernie.
If it weren't for you, George, I wouldn't even have a roof over my head.
Violet?
Here, Georgie, just call it a loan.
You didn't go?
No, this town needs a town flirt.
Wait, everybody. There's a telegram from Sam Wainwright. It reads, Mr. Gower notified me you needed cash. Stop. My office will advance you up to $25,000. Stop. Hee-haw and Merry Christmas, Sam.
I just don't know what to say. Mother, Harry.
George, Mary called us down in Washington.
Doing as fast as we could.
A toast. I propose a toast to Harry.
Yes, a toast to my brother George, the richest man in town. To George!
To George! Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I just can't believe it.
Wait, George, there's a book under the tree.
Why, it's The Adventures of Tom Sawyer.
And there's an inscription on the inside. What's it say?
Dear George, remember, no man is a failure who has friends. Thanks for the wings. Love, Clarence.
Clarence?
A very old friend of mine.
Daddy, look. You see my bell hanging on the Christmas tree?
I see it, Zuzu.
I hung it up there all by myself by a waggle. Can you ring it, Daddy? Daddy keeps it says every time a bell rings, it's going.
That's right, Zuzu. That's right. That's right. Thank you, Clarence. It truly is a wonderful life. Happy landings. Merry Christmas! Acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind. Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness here for old lang syne.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? For old lang syne, dear, for old lang syne. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for days of old lang syne. Days of old lang syne. Days of old lang syne. And here's a hand, my trusted friend, and give a hand on thine. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for days of old lang syne. For should all.
We have some people to thank. Lois for directing. Oh, you just did such a great job. Dean, you did the sound, the mics. So good. Tina, the lighting. Crystal, Ashley, and Janine, the costume, the set, all the props, they're the best. They're great. Give me a second. I can't read my own handwriting. Mary and Chandra for helping out in the kitchen and doing all the reservations. You all wouldn't be here without them, so. Cherie and Tabitha for being the cooks. I hope the food was wonderful. I got a taste of it yesterday. It was very good. John Paul Dallas for assistance helping set up all of the great decorations in here. Janelli for coming back and fixing our mics when they break in the middle of the show. Cecilia and Gwendy for doing the babysitting. We don't particularly want tiny children shouting in here. Kenneth for putting together the programs that you're reading off of. Sharon for doing the recording and running the booth in the back. And Kara for being our stage manager. I think she's back here somewhere. Kara! Let's give everybody a round of applause. And we have some flowers for the people mentioned. So if you come up here, we can get those out to you. All right. Let's give them another round of applause. This can't see through the lights at all. Thanks, Dean. Hi.
And I would like to thank all these. Everyone. And they are the best. We couldn't do this without them. So, I don't know what's happening.